Happy Monday, everybody, and you know what that means on this channel? I am going to go over the things that I watched this week. It was big Super Bowl week, so there wasn't as much coming out. It was also Valentine's Day weekend, so again, a lot of Valentine's Day type movies, rom-coms, romantic movies kind of came out. We saw the re-release of James Cameron Titanic in theaters. For me, it was only in 3D. I'll go into that potentially. I'll go into that here. We have Last of Us come out on Friday. Legend of Vox Machina Season 2 ended. And a new game came out. And while that may not count as TV and movies, I think it took up so much of my time that I wanted to include it on this week's episode. So without further ado, things that I'm going to go over here in this episode are obviously starting out like every episode. It's going to be The Last of Us. We'll go over episode 5, my thoughts on that, how I think the series is moving towards, and how did it live up to part 1, part 2 of this last 2 episodes of the series. Titanic, I did end up going to see this weekend. Kind of a spur of the moment type decision, but I go into my thoughts on why, as somebody who got to see Titanic for the first time in theaters this weekend, mainly because I'm so young at 30 that I would not have really been a kid to go see it in theaters when it was out in the 90s. We'll go over Magic Mike's Last Dance, the #1 movie in the box office this weekend. I got a chance to see it before Titanic. After that, we'll go over the Legends of Vox Machina finale. I'll give my season 2 thoughts overall on the show. I know there's people who love this show on Amazon Prime, Critical Role D&D fans. And then finally, I'll wrap it up with going over briefly Hogwarts Legacy and my opinion on the game and why I think it should be something that people should look at, who may not even be a big gamer per se, because it is very story and movie feeling based in terms of it feels like you're watching a game that is more of a sense of a movie in that action. But let's start off obviously with episode 5 on Friday, The Last of Us, with Henry and Sam coming into the fold. This episode was very, very well done. Everything besides the Kathleen part, I would say, was near perfection. Seeing Henry and Sam be kind of foils as brothers to Joel and Ellie, and Henry making decisions to save Sam that, might be ethically gray per se in a world that is very much gray, I think will leave an impact on Joel and his relationship with Ellie moving forward. I've not played the game, so I don't know the ending of what this season's going to be like. I just know that you're getting a great, more stronger connection between Ellie and Joel. I also loved on this episode how Ellie was able to be a kid again. Like, I love her having her interaction with Sam. This was kind of, and this very well might be one of the last times we see her be that innocent kid. To have fun with somebody who's around or a little bit younger than her age, talking about the comic book superhero per se. I thought Bella Ramsey did very well with that. I think she did very well with how the episode ended and Ellie's tone kind of changed. Again, it's kind of like, okay, this world, you can't let your guard down for a second. I think she feels very big guilt over what happens in this end of this episode. And I think moving forward, we're going to get a little bit more of a serious tone, Ellie. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Joel in the episode again, him and his interactions with Henry, I thought were really great. He's kind of letting his guard down a bit and seeing that there could be good people in the world. Not trusting Henry and Sam early on, but eventually getting to the point where they do grow together, and he was even ready to, bring them with him and Ellie to Wyoming. The big issue of the episode, not when I say issue, is I'm gonna be talking about the Kathleen part. I think she played a very. I wish we would have seen and gotten this half of the story in episode 4, because then it would have made sense how they introduced her. It would have been fine. I wish they would have put the beginning of episode 5, the beginning of episode 4, just giving us a sense of what Joel and Ellie are walking into. I get her character motivations. I didn't see much leadership from people around her. I would have liked to have been able to get a little bit more time in Kansas City to breach that out. Like, I'm just saying 10, 15 minutes at max. These last 2 episodes, I think, would have went a long, long way to strengthening the Kathleen character. But nonetheless, she kind of gets her comeuppance in this episode. She was an easy character to dislike. Um, allowed for a very big action scene to come out that I think a lot of people are really enjoying. I know people that are fans of the game were like a bloater, and I think that was an actually great visual. Um, Not sure if we'll see them later on in the game per se, but definitely was a great climax overall. And the ending part of what happened with Henry and Sam is very heartbreaking. Knowing that Sam got bit, and even though Ellie was there trying with her blood to think that she's a cure, seeing that Sam still turned and having Henry be the one that shot him was just heartbreaking, heartbreaking, heartbreaking. Especially when you go back in the beginning part of the episode and Henry says he's never killed or shot anybody before. So the fact that it was his own brother that he had to do was his first time really shooting a gun at somebody. It's it's sad, and to see him then take his life afterwards, not wanting to live with that guilt and not wanting to live, is also very very sad. And it really really strengthens the hopelessness of this world with the show. It shows these characters and these people and everything, and it's been very 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 well done. But I'm hoping that there's a end in sight that's positive per se. I love how we get to know these people and we get to see positive interactions, but it's heartbreak after heartbreak, and I can't wait to see what happens next week and going on in the second half of the season. But man, what a powerful and strong episode 5 from The Last of Us. Definitely made the right choice to air not on the Super Bowl itself. Um, I'm surprised that they didn't start throwing an ad of it on the Super Bowl. If I was Warner Brothers at HBO, I mean, I know you don't have the biggest amount of money at the moment. I know you put a lot of money in the Flash ad, but I 100% would have put a advertisement in for The Last of Us on the Super Bowl because I think it's been that good. The word of mouth's that good, and getting some of the visuals that we've seen, I think it would have taken a lot of people who maybe didn't know it came out on Friday and told them, like, hey, check out the new episode out on HBO Max. And I think after the game, they might have went and saw some. Sorry for the yawn. Holy smokes. But the number 2 thing we'll go over this week is going to be Titanic. Now, this had its 25th anniversary this week. I was in the theater after Magic Mike's Last Dance, and I was like, oh, this comes on in about 30 or so minutes. I didn't want to go because it was 3D, and I hate 3D glasses. They're so annoying, and I don't wear glasses in real life, so it's just a big pain in my ass, to say frankly. But the Titanic is a movie that is one of the biggest hits ever, and just like last year when I went to go see Jaws in IMAX, I want to see these older movies when they get re-released in theaters because it provides a much different and a much better experience than sometimes I have when I watch it at home. And that was no different with Titanic. I will say the 3D aspect did not do anything for this movie besides make me have to pay about $4 more to get into to go in and see it, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. The bigger deal for me is the fact that I had the annoying glasses on the whole time, and I don't think it added anything, any extra layer or stuff. So James Cameron, please, when you release these older movies, don't make them all 3D, please. I would have rather this been released in IMAX instead of 3D. But either way, I got to see this movie, and man, I could do like a whole breakdown on why this movie succeeds and why it succeeds today as much as it did back in the 90s. James Cameron has a way of making his movies hit so many different quadrants of entertainment. And you get that here in Titanic with kind of the sci fi aspects of the beginning of the movie. You get this amazing love story between Jack and Kate, with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio throughout the movie. There's a lot of humor in the movie. It turns into a very big action style thing near the end, and even in the action type pacing, there's a lot of different things going on, like with the musical artists that are playing during the singing of the ship. Very very comedic, cutting back at right points to the scientist in the real world story, at giving you moments to breathe. Jack and Kate struggling, going over the top just a little bit, but not enough that takes you out of the moment. Showing all the real life horror of people dying, of people falling off, of people jumping off, of people accepting their deaths, of people killing themselves. This did not shy away from showing real life panic in a very well-rounded way. It's 3 hours that doesn't, that feels like it isn't 3 hours until you get out of the theater and you realize, wait, this started at like 10 o'clock and it's now almost 1:30. It wasn't really 1:30, but it was 1 o'clock for me when I got out of the theater. So it was very, very long, and that's okay. I think that this movie is an epic. It's a test of time. I think the unsung hero and acting wise, we all know about Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet as the two leads, but I think Kathy Bates coming in as the new blood loudmouth Molly, I think is what the nickname is, but Molly really gives a heart to the middle of the movie and provides a audience a foil to looking at the rich people and understanding that not all, that there are other people who were of money that realized what was going on was complete bullshit and stupidity. And I think Kathy Bates, when I was watching this movie, like, this character really brings together the story, because not only is she allowing Jack to be put into a very, her son's tux and stuff, but she plays that audience character and she scows down these horrible rich people and their judgmental attitudes so much that you can laugh, you relate to it, and when in the end, when she's like, we need to take our boats to go save people, and everybody said no, 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 she just plays a very supportive, emotional, but important part of this movie. This was a great time in theaters. If it's still out this weekend, I know everybody's going to go see Ant-Man, but if you're somebody like me who hasn't seen Titanic in theaters ever, this is worth going to see and experience in theaters. It is a cinematic experience, and it was a wonderful time, and I'm so happy that I talked myself into it, despite the stupid 3D glasses, on Saturday night to go see this movie. The movie I did see first on Saturday night, though, that I told myself, we're going to watch everything. This movie isn't exactly aimed at my demographic, but hey, I'll go see Magic Mike's Last Dance. And in all honesty, it wasn't a horrible movie overall. I think the love story between Channing Tatum and Salma Hayek's characters was very iffy throughout. It was very weak, but their chemistry together was perfectly fine. The dancing was phenomenal. I think, if you're looking to go in for a Magic Mike's movie for the dancing, for the aspect of male physique, I think this works very well for that. I definitely, when I went to go see this movie, it wasn't a packed audience, but it was very female heavy. And probably, the best thing that came out of the movie was there's a part where Mike shows his dancers how to kind of do a lap dance to, to the actress who's playing in the, the role on this stage show. And Selma Hayek's character afterwards was like, no, it can't just be here sitting at the seat. Women want more than that. And a lady in the theater literally shouted, "No, I want that!" Like, just straight up, like, I don't know, when Selma Hayek's character says that statement, like, 2 seconds later, like, "Nope, I want that," and the theater just started laughing. It was so funny, and it was so it's like, again, I love this. Is what I love. I think theaters sometimes when you have these audiences, people might be grown whenever people make comments like this, but this added to the movie. This added to the experience. This really ended up making the second half of this movie kind of like a fun, laughing, enjoying, like, type film. It wasn't the best thing in the world. I don't know if I could recommend people go see this in theaters per se, but I think if you're looking for a date movie, if you're looking for a movie with a bunch of female friends, I think Magic Mike's Last Dance hits all the notes for that. I think it delivers everything it was supposed to do. I know it wasn't released wide this week, but it did open #1. So I think there's positive aspects of that. But yeah, it'll be on HBO Max here soon, and I definitely recommend if you want to watch it on HBO Max, I think it's a perfect streaming movie for HBO Max. But if you go out to theaters with a bunch of your with a bunch of friends that love Magic Mike, I think this movie will deliver for you pretty easily. All right. Now, a TV show that I keep including on here that I know probably isn't the most popular thing with my friend group and people that I know, but I give it a chance. It's a simple thing on Thursdays. I can go in and they've been doing 3 episodes a week, arcane style, and I'll go in and I'll watch the Vox Machina. I'll have dinner. I'll watch the episodes. It's about an hour, hour and a half a week. So we had the finale this week, and I have to say, season 2 for me is a huge letdown in different ways. Number one, the amount of times they fake deaths this season. I know it's D&D. I know when you're playing D&D in a campaign way, that can work very well. But how it went in this show, I thought it threw off the pacing in the middle of the season so much. I think the finale, dragon fight scene was fine. We definitely get Scanlan having a lot of a lot of the character developments worked its way at the end of the season with Scanlan, with Grog, and with Vax. The dragon fight was a little bit over the top, but it was pretty decent overall. I definitely loved the episode where Grog and all the Vox Machina get back together fighting the Horde leader. I thought that one worked very, very well. I think the last 3 episodes were decent per se. I just wonder if next season will feel like we're doing the same thing a little bit too much with keeping of the dragon storyline and enhance. But overall, it was a decent final 3 episodes. I think they definitely scaled back in season 2 on the adult humor per se. They did touch a little bit more into stories. I just wish we didn't get some of those really big character fake out deaths, because I think they take away from me feeling that these characters can die, which I hope, and I probably am pretty sure that some of them will end up dying in this show. But I would have, I personally would have liked to see at least one of them potentially, die in season 2 per se. I know that's kind of grim to say, but it gives you a little bit more stakes, and it gives the group a little bit more roundabout things to come together on. But overall, the series it's passable. It's the animation's fine. Isn't the best animation in the world. I think it gets better as the season goes on, or I just got used to it. I think the voice acting is tremendous. I think the story works its way around a bit. It's not top of the notch storytelling, but for an adapting of a D&D campaign, I think it's doing decently well. Just cut out some of the fake out death type stuff. When you see people like being called dead, when you see people impaled with actual weapons, it doesn't make sense that they just that they just shake it, But that's kind of how the show goes. I give it like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. Like I said, I'll look forward to next season when it comes out. It is just a pastime show that I'll check out and watch. If you used to watch Vox Machina, tell me your thoughts down below. Am I being too harsh on this? Did you like this more? Did you like this less? Are you going to check it out now that season 2's ended and you've heard me talk about it? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you like these type of reviews and these type of videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to figure out how else I can improve on this channel. I tried doing a couple trailer reactions this weekend. I do my all my shorts, whether it be movie reviews, ratings, what's coming out, box office type information. If you want different type of content, let me know. Put it in the comments below. Subscribe. I'm growing this thing out a little by little, and I'm appreciating any input people give to me. Now, I know this isn't a TV show or a movie, but I spent about 10 hours this past week playing Hogwarts Legacy, and because so much of the movie is cuts, so much of the game, not movie, but it feels like a movie, is cutscenes on story. I want to include it here because I think it very much taps into a different medium of storytelling that I think a lot of people divvy off into the gamer category. I talked to even my mom this week, and I said, "Hey, when my sister gets it for her Xbox, One, you should go over and watch her play, and maybe even see if you can play yourself, because the game is telling a very nice story. You really get to go through Hogwarts and feel like you're getting that Hogwarts experience. It's a very bigger world. It's not just the castle. It feels very Skyrim-like. My only complaints are you can't communicate with every student, but most students have side conversations you can listen into that give really fun side conversations per se. I'm really liking the way the questing works. I think I'm looking forward to how maybe the story keeps growing and going. There's no Quidditch in it, but the flying mechanics I just got last night really good. There's even a mode like there's different levels of difficulty, and if you're somebody who doesn't even play games and doesn't want to like struggle through a game, they actually have a story, a story difficulty level in this game that just allows you to go through and experience a story and experience the world. This, I think, to me is a very big win and a very big hit. I'm probably going to be going to watch it after going back to play it after I finish this video. I've really enjoyed this game. High remarks from me. I think if you're a fan of Harry Potter, if you're a fan of the Wizarding World, Hogwarts, anything like that, give it a chance. It's not set at the time period of Harry Potter. It's roughly about 100 or 120 or so years before it. Late 1800s. So you won't get any characters that you may know per se. You get, some of the wizarding names, the pureblood names will come up, that people that you recognize with their last names. But overall, this movie of a game, this game that feels like a movie, is just doing a very good job. And even for me, with a computer that might not have the biggest graphics card and systems, is running it decently well. It was $70, and so far, this for 10 hours of entertainment, it's $70 well spent so far. I can't wait to go through this game. I can't wait to go back through and develop characters and play in different houses. I'm already planning a couple different run throughs after I finish this game. I've really enjoyed it, and it's something that I've been watching this week as I've been playing it. And I'll probably, I don't think I'll put it on here again, but just an overall great game, a great experience for the Wizarding World. And if you're somebody who loves Harry Potter, I definitely recommend finding a way to either watch the story of this, or find a way to take part of the game itself. A huge win for me. And that's going to do it for this week, what I watched this week. I don't know how much we're going to have on next week's episode because I am going to Vegas in the middle of this week. But even though I'll be in Vegas, I'm going to catch Ant-Man and the Wasp on Thursday at an IMAX. And we'll see what else comes out this week. I'm looking forward to it. I went in the Regal app and we have Ant-Man, Cocaine Bear, Creed 3, Dungeons and Dragons coming out. Like, we're getting a lot of movies coming out week to week that I'm looking forward to. So I can't wait to see where this channel goes. Last of Us next week looks great. Tell me what other TV show I should check out in the comments below and add on here for Vox Machina's replacement. But until next week, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, and I hope you have a great week. And I will see you in shorts. I will see you either next week in this, episode 7. But until then, stay safe and have a great time. Peace.